Why did Mohg kidnap Miquella? What would drive Mohg to kidnap the kindest soul in the lands between? I myself wondered this for a while, but after digging around, I found the answer and found more than just that. So before we get into what Mohg's motive was, I'm going to provide some context so you understand the full story. Miquella and his sister, Melania, were born of one god, America. Due to being born to a single god, they were both born with different afflictions. Melania's being the curse of the scarlet rot, and Miquella's being the curse of eternal youth. Because of Miquella's young age, Melania swore to be Miquella's solemn protector under the title Melania, Blade of Miquella. While Melania was the strongest of the two, Miquella had a different strength. A quote from Melania herself: "My brother will keep his promise. He possesses the wisdom, the allure of a god. He is the most fearsome Empyrean of all. Miquella is blessed with much intelligence and a pure heart." However, Miquella's intelligence is not what makes him powerful. It's more so his pure heart, so to say. Miquella has an ability to cure people or something along the lines of that. Now, more specifically, he seems to be able to remove afflictions from people. For example, in a cut quest, the player is alongside a player named Saint Trina. Saint Trina is an alias for Miquella. In the quest, Saint Trina used to sing a lullaby to soothe the frenzied flame affliction of the red-eyed merchants, helping them retain their personhood and prevent them from becoming one. Now, I believe this is only a glimpse of Miquella's true strength, because you remember earlier when I said Miquella made a promise to Melania? The promise Miquella made was to find a permanent cure to the affliction of the outer god using Melania. But I believe Miquella realized he was a true solution to removing Melania's affliction, as if the twins represent two sides of a coin. But Miquella knew his ability to cure affliction was far too weak if he could only temporarily cure mere merchants who were not even being cursed by an outer god, with this much effort at least. So Miquella, in an attempt to mature to adulthood and awaken his new powers, creates a cocoon inside the Halleck tree. But while Miquella slept in his cocoon awaiting his metamorphosis, the Halleck tree he created with his own blood from a sapling, in an attempt to protect people seen as disgraced, was cut open, and Miquella was stolen by a graceless omen, much like the very people Miquella made the Halleck tree to protect. This omen would be known as Mohg, the Lord of Blood. Mohg the Omen was born of Godfrey, first Elden Lord in America the Eternal. Mohg was also born with a twin, Morgott. These twins may have been born unafflicted, but were born accursed omens of no grace. Due to their disgrace, they were confined to the subterranean shunning grounds beneath Lanedale. Morgott was unbroken by this banishment, and never abandoned the Greater Order even after this treatment. Mohg, however, despised the Golden Order, and embraced his omen heritage. An outer god known as the Formless Mother, or the Mother of Truth, would acknowledge Mohg, embrace his accursed blood. The Formless Mother seems to only have interest in beings with accursed blood, and Mohg had the most accursed blood of anyone, and embraced his accursed blood more than anyone. Because of this, she would choose Mohg as her vessel. Mohg, under the influence of the Formless Mother, wished to bring upon a new age which the Formless Mother would rule opposed to the Greater Will. But Mohg is not an Empyrean. Empyreans are vessels outer gods choose to rule in their place. America was once an Empyrean of the Greater Will before her ascent to godhood. There were only 3 current Empyreans, those being Ranni, Melania, and Miquella. As for why Mohg chose Miquella specifically, I'm not exactly sure. I imagine he chose Miquella because he is far weaker than Ranni or Melania, and Miquella was practically unguarded, being with Melania in a coma, and the Halleck tree's guards being no match for Mohg. But besides the convenience of kidnapping Miquella, I believe Miquella to be the best option or only option for Mohg, because of his dedication to the Greater Will and his connection to the Greater Will, as Miquella seems to be the only Empyrean left that likes the Greater Will. Melania might, I'm not really sure. I believe Miquella to have the greatest connection to the Greater Will because there are multiple instances of Miquella showing his dedication to the Greater Will. In the original version of the game, it was said that Miquella abandoned the Golden Order / Greater Will. This was corrected to be Miquella abandoned the Golden Order to create a new order. This order was named the Unalloyed Order, under the Greater Will. Now, I'm not sure if maybe Miquella was necessary to establish a new god, or if he was just the best option of the Empyreans, but nevertheless, he was the Empyrean Mohg kidnapped. Mohg wished to force his half-brother Miquella to become an Empyrean under the Formless Mother opposed to the Golden Order, with Mohg being king consort and effectively the monarch of the lands between. So, he kidnapped Miquella while still inside his cocoon and brought him underground to his palace. Now Mohg would attempt to bring Miquella to godhood through a ritual that consisted of Mohg cutting open Miquella's cocoon to reveal the child inside and have his followers render offerings of blood and drench Miquella with it. Mohg would use an extreme amount of blood in an attempt to bring Miquella to godhood, to which Miquella wouldn't budge. The reason Miquella would not budge is because Miquella stripped himself of all flesh, his golden lineage, and traveled to the land of shadow. Now this may be confusing as we can still see Miquella's body in the cocoon, but as it says, he stripped himself of all flesh and left to the land of shadow. This makes it sound as if the land of shadow is the afterlife or something along those lines, but it is not, as Miquella is still alive. I believe Miquella traveled to the land of shadow with another ability he has, this being the power that involves dreams and sleep. I believe he fled to the land of shadow through his dreams. Now this may sound a little odd as there are a few things in the game that reference the ability, and many of the things that do reference were also cut from the game. Like this dialogue from a cut character named Rico. Finally, I have found it. St. Trina's, no, Lord Miquella's cadaver. I have partaken of untold secrets, such that I may aid you, O Lord. So please, I hope you welcome your humble servant Rico into your dream, the world of your heart. Indeed, I beg you grant my wish, that when you transcend from Empyrean to God, allow me a place by your side. I think this stream will be our entrance to the land of shadow when we interact with Miquella's cocoon in the DLC. But yeah, that pretty much sums up the video and everything I find to be associated with the situation. But if there's any other Elden Ring lore you guys want to know about, let me know in the comments. And if you enjoyed, please like. And if you want to see more, please sub. Have a good day, guys. Peace.